mythical morning.
Yes, thanks for joining us today. It's a mythical morning no matter what time of day it is. Now, in the very recent past, when I was deciding to gain entertainment from the Netflix, I was perusing and landed in the documentary section.
Happens all the time.
Now, I'm more of a television on Netflix kind of a guy, but there's just certain times when I'm just in the mood for a documentary.
To learn.
Well, I still want to be entertained by a documentary.
And learn.
But I actually learned something inadvertently because this documentary I watched took a turn.
I only learn inadvertently. You need a t-shirt that says, I never learned purpose on purpose.
And I'm proud of that.
Kids don't learn on purpose.
So, this movie's been out for a few years. It originally came out on HBO, I think, but it's a recent addition to Netflix, which means it's new to me.
Right, new to you, man.
Called Hot Coffee.
Hand me down.
You can read like a couple of lines in the description, and it said that it explored the lawsuit of the woman who sued McDonald's for the coffee that she spilled in her lap.
I recall this.
So I was like, I'm interested in hearing kind of the backstory on this. It seems like it would be something fascinating. Now, I will say that the documentary turned into something that was it was a very political documentary. I can get into that a little bit, but my preconceived notion of the documentary was based on my preconceived notion of the trial itself. Oh, this frivolous lawsuit of this woman. Of course, the coffee's hot. It's coffee. $2.6 million in punitive damages awarded to this woman.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's like, what in the world?
Give me some coffee. I'll take a bath in hot coffee for $2.6 million.
Well, no, you won't. And here's why. You should watch the documentary. It's called Hot Coffee. Listen. Hot coffee. The woman has since passed away, but
Because of the coffee?
No.
I wouldn't swim in that coffee, buddy.
Well, I mean, I think...
Not to make light of it.
She was an older woman, and I think that her injuries sustained by the hot coffee... She went through the drive-thru with her nephew. Her nephew hands her the coffee. They're parked. They're not driving. She hands her the coffee. She puts it in between her
Should have sued
legs.
the nephew.
She's putting the cream in there, and then she spills the coffee. And in this documentary, they show photos of her injuries.
Ooh, the lap area?
Yes, and I'm glad they did, because that's the only way to show that this was these injuries were horrendous. 3rd-degree burns.
I just thought it was like got a little red. Were you saying it was 3rd-degree burns?
Skin grafts. Yeah, I mean,
here's the deal.
Months of fixing this.
You have to be prepared. You know this. Once you go down the Netflix documentary rabbit hole, you have to be prepared to have your entire world change, because that's the point of these documentaries. It's like a couple of years ago, we watched the Tap, the one about bottled water, and it's like every time I have a bottled water in my hand now, I feel like evil.
Yeah, and I just wanted to sit down and watch something that's, this is an interesting profile piece on the woman and what she went through in the trial and stuff like that. Well, that's not what happened at all. They ended up talking about 2 or 3 other stories, and it became a very political documentary about tort reform, which basically is, the documentary's perspective is it's large corporations' efforts to influence legislation against an individual's rights to sue companies. Mm-hmm. So it gets into all these things, which are very compelling, that by the end of this, I'm not going to get into it now, you can watch the documentary, but by the end of it, I was just angry.
Fired up.
And that's, I just wanted to have like some light entertainment.
I wanted to pour some coffee on somebody.
How did this woman what happened to her life? But that's what happens in these documentaries.
That's how they get you, man.
They
call it hot coffee. They don't call it tort reform.
Right.
I mean, that doesn't make a good documentary.
Or tort deform. Or you could get a little cute with it.
Yeah.
They hooked me with the hot coffee, and then went through all these heart-wrenching stories of people who their lives were screwed over by corporations, but then they were handicapped in their way that they could gain justice.
But, okay, I haven't seen the documentary. So first of all, I will say that I know when I watch the documentary, I'm going to completely agree with you. But I'm pre-doc right now. So when you're pre-doc, you can have your own opinions. And then when you watch a Netflix documentary, then all of a sudden you have to have the same opinions as the documentary.
Yeah, so now is your cue to spout your ignorant opinion.
So I think, first of all, now that I know that this is an old lady and she got burned real bad, it makes me feel kind of sad for her.
But tort reform